Hello everyone and welcome to another video with me, Umber Rays, and today we're talking about Soul and Soul's banner. Is Soul any good? Does Soul suck? Well, I'm going to start this video normally a way I don't do, and that is by saying right out of the get-go, yes, Soul is really, really good. Is Soul worth pulling for? That's a big question mark on this one. I'm not going to totally lie. Now, something that makes this banner a lot more tempting is the fact that, well, there are free trust moogles. So if you're going to be spending any tickets or doing an 11 pull, you're going to get some trust moogles off of it. And now if you use basic tickets, then you'll get a random TMR moogle. If you use one of the 4-star tickets, you're guaranteed at least a 5% all moogle. So yeah, this is why I save my 4-star tickets for events like this, because I just get a lot of extra trust moogles. And definitely I would recommend that everybody else do it too. So let's take a look at the units. First of all, the 3-star base. Nothing exciting for long-term players for sure. For new players, a 40% attack up materia is probably something you might be looking for. The danger here is that it decreases your resistance to confusion and poison. Confusion is far more dangerous on a attacker. So yeah, I think that this is generally not great for long-term players, but I have to admit, her sprite is just so bright and shiny. I love it. Next up is Rabita. No, that's not really her name. But anyway, hers TMR, just taking a look at, because I want to show off her limit burst real quick. It's actually really funny. Anyway, materia give 40% extra Esper stats. If you're already maxed out, 40% Esper stats is pretty nice. It also gives, 40% stats across the board. So just whatever the Esper is equipped. So you can kind of make your unit more powerful depending on what Esper you have. So it's kind of nice to be able to aim like that. Next up is our other 4-star, Ice Mage. Oh, I should say the other 4-star is a debuffer, but let's be honest, 7-star meta. Now this Ice Mage, I absolutely love her sprite. That is really, really cool. And yes, I know it's an Ice Mage, so ice puns galore! But anyway, this is the TMR that I'm really interested on this banner because a 52 magic helmet is just the thing that my Dark Mage Golbez has been looking for, so this is pretty freaking awesome to get my hands on. And last but not least is Soul. Now, Soul, really good TMR. I think I've talked about enough, but 65 magic robe is just really good. 42 spirits, also pretty good. 10% MP is nice, and some defense. This is just a solid robe for anyone who needs robes for your mages. And the accessory, well, this Super TMR accessory is basically kind of like the Red 13 Super TMR of accessories for mages. This thing is just amazing. 70 magic stat, it's just really powerful. And a 30% MP reduction. That's going to be good for a ton of mages in the future. So yeah, this Super TMR actually feels really Super TMR. It might even be one of my favorite Super TMRs in the game. Now, let's talk about Soul's kit, and we'll start with stat-wise. Now, he has a base magic of 220. It's also interesting he has a really good spirit, bad defense, but a really good amount of MP and HP. In terms of, just looking at a mage, he can get a fair amount of HP. I believe over about fully potted, he should be able to do 10k pretty easily. And for a mage, that's a lot of HP. MP-wise, he has a ton, and he gets 10% MP recovery per turn. So yeah, he's pretty good on MP too. Although quadricasting can be kind of expensive. Anyway, magic stat-wise, he actually power creeps Ellie with one of the higher magic stats in the game, 220. And an extra 65 points put in, but his spirit is also really nice, so he's pretty survivable for spirit damage too. Again, without too much effort, I think you can get him to about, 700-800 spirit. In magic-wise in his kit, he can dual cast magic. He has Holy, he has Ultima, he has Reflect, and he has Dispel. one of these feels just so much better, and that is very clearly Dispel. Sometimes I get in trouble just not having Dispel on certain units, so having another unit that can Dispel is pretty nice. Now his Limit Burst is just a very powerful magic attack. It's 7-star maxed out. It is a little expensive, but it does give him Quadracasting for 2 turns, so that is super nice. Quadracasting is just good to have. I mean, he can use a ton of abilities. He has some natural light and dark resistance. He has some natural status immunities, so that is all nice. Looking at his, just his kit, he can naturally dual wield, and for dual wielding, he gets an extra 100% magic true dual wield. So that's great. That's something we've kind of been missing on the JP side. So that's really nice to get. He gets MP, HP, magic passives for equipping rods. He gets, more magic, more spirit, blah, blah, blah. 2 limit burst crystals per turn. He has a natural limit burst fill rate. But for equipping his own TMR, and this is something I absolutely love, he gets 100% resistance to... that's misprinted. Stop and Charm. That is really just quite incredible. For equipping is just being able to, not be able to be Stop or Charmed, I think is very, very strong and makes him very, very, just self-reliant. So I really like that in his kit. Now, looking at his damage part of his kit, here's the thing. He loves Chaos Wave. Pretty much all of his abilities are Chaos Wave, except, well, he has some debuffing skills too, but he also has Destruction, which is an AR chaining, basically Lunera, 30 hits at 4 frames. He can multicast it, so that's great. I love AR chaining. It's super nice. It is non-elemental and doesn't have a particularly high modifier, at least at the start. So yes, naturally in his kit, most of his abilities are just Chaos Wave chaining, but his kit actually ended up being better than I was kind of led to believe. Most of his elemental chaining abilities do debuff the element for 75% for 3 turns to all enemies, so that is very strong debuffing that he can just naturally have. He can also support the party with light and dark resistance of 75%, basically 3 turns for everything. And he has a ability to increase the magic of your party, debuff the spirit of your enemies, and debuff your own spirit, except for himself, because Saul's a bit of a jerk. Paired with Aerith, though, this won't be a problem, as Aerith can prevent debuffs, so yeah, should be fine. Now, a lot of the stuff that he does get is in his 7-star, and I mean his more powerful Chaos Wave chaining. Now, this is stacked damage, and he does actually as well have a backloaded Chaos Wave damage. So Soul essentially has some really powerful options when it comes to his elemental chaining ability. And that is really good. That's just really, really strong. So yeah, nothing really to complain about there. His cooldown abilities are also really good too. Available turn 1, 5-turn cooldown, decrease fire, light, dark resistance 100% for 3 turns to all enemies, increase magic by 200% to the caster. So debuff of 100% to his main elements, just like Ellie can do, and it gives him Quadracasting for 2 turns. He has multiple ways of getting quad casting, and he has dual casting for the rest of the time. So it's okay. It's perfectly good. And Chaos Nova, a 7-turn cooldown available on turn 7, is a multi-magic hit and enables 2 turns of Quadracasting and unlocks a ability called Chaotic Power. It should be noted that I do believe Chaos Nova is a mismatch recasting delay, so it's not necessarily as good of a chaining ability. The interesting thing is that one of his the abilities that he can do, if he activates Power of Chaos, it restores HP and MP of 50% to the caster. Using the next turn will increase magic by 250% for 1 turn to the caster, and increase modifier of destruction, his AR chaining, by 17.5 times for 1 turn. But that one turn with quadricasting, if you unlock quadricasting, well, I don't know if you can do that. Be curious. I haven't really experimented with him because I don't have him yet, because I have to wait for the live stream to do my polls. This is how rough life can be. But yes, Soul has a very powerful kit that is 100% almost focused just solely, that's a bad joke, I didn't mean to do that, around Chaos Wave and Chaos Wave chaining. Soul has some good support for the party and provided some extra different units that are in the party too. You know, some of the downsides don't even matter that much. Soul can also regen his HP and MP, which is super nice. He's kind of independent, so do I recommend Soul? Soul is definitely powerful. Is he more powerful than Ellie? Seems like it. Soul has more flexibility in his kit, being able to choose from multiple different elements, where Ellie is very much locked into one specific element, and that's kind of bad. Well, I mean, like, for Ellie's chaining is basically mostly wind, or just wind. Anyway, let's not get into it. Soul is a powerful unit. There's no two ways about that. As with any mage, though, even though that this guy does seem to have a really good chaining, or a decent chaining partner in Dark Mage Golbez, this is kind of a tough one to recommend to say that you should go full steam on it. While I think Soul has an amazing TMR, an amazing super TMR, a great kit that is probably the most powerful for a mage in the game, the real question is whether you can see friends with him, because obviously Soul pairs best with himself, just like any mage in the game right now. That's the way it feels. So yeah, Soul, if you can find, you know, enough other people that are going to pull for him and get him, and guaranteed to get him as a 7-star, he should be a really incredibly powerful mage that can get over 3,000 magic stat. But with that being said, that's the problem. Can you actually find it? Because most of friend list right now is just physical units. So there's a good 11k step up, and there are some trust moogles. Throw some 4-star tickets and hope that you get Soul. If you do, don't be disappointed in him at all. He is very, very powerful. But should you necessarily go for him? Maybe. I'll let you guys decide for yourself. Anyway, that's all for now, and I'll see you next time.